Welcome to Spotlight with me, Matt Perkins, from the Salvation Army's Youth and Children's Ministry Unit. In each episode, we will get to know a local youth leader and get to know something of their youth ministry. Today's guest is Vilem from Margate, Armada Spasy Margate. Vilem, how are you?
Hi, Matt. I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Thank you for joining us. Vilem, before we get to know you and hear about your ministry with young people, tell us, what is Armada Spasy?
Armada Spasy is a Salvation Army church where mainly Czech, Slovak and Roma people attend. I am Czech Roma, and us Roma are very family-oriented people and stick together. And this coin obviously has two sides, and that means sometimes being restricted in our thinking and our mentality and growth.
Vilem, we'll hear a bit more about the Armada Spasy community and the ministry in Margate in a bit, but first we want to get to know you, and we're going to do that through My Life in Pictures. So I know you've got 3 pictures to share with us. Explain your first picture, telling us a bit about your family.
I'm married to Jessica Konova. We have 3 kids, 2 boys and 1 girl, Daniel, Samuel and Catherine. And we've been married for 16 years in October 21st.
Don't look old enough.
I know, thanks.
You've got a good moisturiser. You need to share what that moisturiser is with everyone.
Yeah.
Tell us about your second photo. So your second photo is what you do for a living.
Yeah, so I work as a mental health support worker for Avondale Care company. We care and support emotionally clients with mental health. Definitely makes a difference. It is a very rewarding job when you see client coming out of their shell and achieving their goals, and it's just amazing to see, amazing to be part of.
Yeah, absolutely. Vilem, and the third photo we're going to see is going to tell us a bit about what you like to do in your spare time.
Well, me and my family, we love to go out. We love to go into nature. We love to go into woods, walks, and we just love to admire God's creation. Brilliant.
And the photo we can see is 2 of your children.
Yes, Samuel and Catherine, just being free in the countryside, running around.
And that's in England. It looks like a rare sunny day. Your son's got his top off. He's getting a bit of a tan going on.
It was rare. Yes.
Brilliant. No, it looks fun. Vilem, thank you. So Vilem, the reason we're having this call is to get to know a bit about your youth ministry in Margate with the Armada Spasy Corps and the young people there. Talk to us now about what that looks like.
Well, I've been a youth leader for many years in our church, always interested in that and or called to do that really. And we have a Roma congregation. Our youth is built from Czech, Slovak, Roma. We have roughly 25 kids attending each week, and we run the youth club on Mondays. All the kids that attend the youth club are the children of the parents that attend the church, and I've always believed that that's not the whole picture, that there's more to it than just having these regular kids attending the church youth club or the church with their parents. So for many years, I'd say maybe 8 years, I've been knocking hard and trying to get through to my leaderships and my authorities. And I've always come across a barrier, and there wasn't any doors being opened, not even a little bit. And that was obviously very frustrating, because I've always believed that the church should be open to all.
Vilem, why do you think there has been that reluctance to integrate?
I think it's part of feeling safe in our own core as a community. We as Roma naturally stick together in a different country, being in a board or as a foreigner. We do not allow strangers into our communities. We're not very open to that as a community. And I've always believed that that's wrong, and there's more to just us being us.
Initially, how did that go down? How were you met? What was the response?
It was a concrete wall I was coming against, and I almost lost hope. Lots of prayers and lots of patience, and lots of little seeds being planted into the leadership. But then suddenly street-based youth work training came about, and I thought I want to know what this is about, and I took part of the training, and I didn't think much of it at the time during the training, but then suddenly, a few days later, doors started opening, not by me pushing, but on their own. The pastors started talking to me about, what's your vision for this year? What do you want to do within youth? And suddenly they're coming to me, and I'm explaining why the set mentality of not allowing others just suddenly break. It was like cloud. You could just blow and it was away. It was just amazing. Wow. And that door was open, and it allowed me to go out into streets and get to know my community.
Wow. So yeah, the street-based youth work training, there's a street-based youth work network that a lot of our youth leaders across the territory are a part of. But this training was instrumental in giving you something to talk about with leadership, something new, but also gave you the opportunity to get out on the streets and meet young people that you've never integrated with before. So you've spoken about your vision. You were asked what your vision was. At that point, what was your vision? And presumably street-based youth work became a big part of that.
I had that vision in me to open the doors to all and to invite all, not just Roma, Czech and Slovak kids. I had that vision in me. I didn't know how to then practically put it into practice. So street-based youth work definitely empowered me and gave me the tools and knowledge as to how to do that, which then led into me going into the streets, getting to know my community, speaking and being out there on the streets, putting the hours in. And lots of weeks later, we're thinking about opening Fusion Club, which would be a club that would be within church, not on a Monday for our youth club, but separate on a Friday. And it would allow these kids that I've get to know in the streets to come in and just chill. Now, in our church, there was also this mentality of this is a church and this is a holy place. We don't play, this kind of music, or we don't, you behave in a certain way.
Sure.
And I understood from being in the streets that it's not going to go well if I play worship for 2 hours and get them on their knees. So immediately I understood I just need to be a bit more open to where they are, become on their level almost, and let them be comfortable in their own kind of like environment, but in church. I made their environment in church, and that allowed the floodgates to open, and suddenly they were coming in. And at one point, the pastor of the church came in on one of the evenings in Fusion, and there was music blasting, and people were playing, and some people were swearing, and they were just being them. But he was so calm, and he could see my vision. It was like God has placed my vision onto him, and he was so cool with it, and he was so supportive with it as well.
Wow, a massive shift in leadership's heart and mind as to what the church could be providing for the local community, and importantly, integrating with it. And as you say, you formed a club called Fusion. How did they respond to you and your team when you were out on the street for the very first time, and possibly for the first time, the Roma community were integrating and wanting to get to know them?
It was difficult, but again, the street-based youth work training empowered me so much, gave me so much confidence to just go out there and put myself out there. There was no interest from the community side. I had to make those steps, like you say, the first step, and just putting myself out there. It wasn't great. It was it wasn't fitting. It was difficult for both sides to understand. But then gradually, with lots of prayers and lots of patience and lots of hours being put in on the streets, they started to get to know me in the community, and to the point where today, next week when I go out, I know that they're waiting for me with a ball, and they're waiting for me, they're expecting me. And if I don't turn up one week, they'll see me in the streets. They're like, "Hey, Will, you didn't come last week," So they call me Will in the streets because it's easier for them rather than calling me Vilem.
Fair enough.
some people call me Vilem instead of Vilem. And I'm a youth worker, so that doesn't work.
Vilem, what you're describing is just so great, that you've built relationship with young people beyond the walls of your building that possibly would have never walked into those buildings unless you had made that first step through street-based youth work.
Yeah.
And now not only have you got relationship with young people on the street, and it seems like it's fun, you've got a bit of banter going on between you, but you're also able to invite them into the Salvation Army building, and they are responding and they are turning up.
Yes.
And so your vision has come through. God's done an incredible thing in your life where, they're coming on a Friday night, and are the Roma community, the young people of that Roma community, are they attending on Friday as well? And then is there an integration almost into some of the pre-existing projects you had going on, such as you mentioned, the Monday Club? Do young people integrate into both?
Well, this is the thing with the youth club on a Monday, the congregation kids that already come, the church kids that already come, if you like, on Mondays. I've been preparing them for this time for many years, since they've been coming, since we've been running this youth club. I've been planting those seeds of my vision into them, that we need to integrate, invite somebody to church for a youth club on Monday. It's just taken years to set that mentality in them, that we are not a enclosed club. And so these kids, by the time we got to this time where we opened Fusion, they were itching for someone to come through the door. And when they did, they were super cool about it. And they invited them with, handshakes and come and sit down, and can I make you coffee? Can I make you tea? Can we, let's chat, let's play pool. They were so ready for it.
Vilem, I love that, because I think at the start of our conversation, it felt like, and it is very much your vision. But what you're saying now is that actually your youth group, your young people have been part of that vision because you shared it with them.
Yes.
And I think there's something for us as youth workers across the country to learn from that, because sharing the vision with young people and doing that together is going to have such great impact. But what you're also describing is you're developing leaders. Have you got individuals that you've been working with who you just think, wow, I see so much potential in them?
We do, yes, we do. I mean, when we were planning Fusion, like you say, I've involved the youth, and they designed Fusion. They said what they want in it. They shared their vision and their ideas. By that time, the mentality in them, those seeds are growing, the fruit is growing, and they know what they want, and they're adding to the vision of how we should integrate, how we should do it. And like you say, there's always been two who stand out, and they put themselves out there, and they're showing the qualities and the gifts of leaders, and that's Kevin and Mari. And so I've decided to start training those two people who come from the youth, and they've been there since they were little kids, and they grew up in this youth, and they decided to train them and empower them to start running the youth club on a Monday in future.
Wow. Vilem, I'm just blown away and encouraged and inspired by the fact that you're so dedicated to the young people in that community, and sharing the gospel, and wanting integration and the best for people. And I think what's so encouraging is that God is working through you, but he's now working through the lives of other young people using the vision he gave you initially. That the whole thing about integration, about life can be more than this, that actually you can break free of some of the traditions and the culture that has maybe possibly, is it right in saying, restricted you
hugely.
And so, Vilem, it's just been such a privilege to speak to you today, a volunteer local youth leader. And I think everyone's got to understand a bit more about your ministry, but also about the Roma community. So Vilem, thank you so much for sharing something of your ministry today. For everyone else, thank you for joining us. Please join us next time, where we will be shining a spotlight on another local youth leader and hearing about their youth ministry.